I don't deserve my friendships. Why does anyone view my art? People will see the real me and run away. My dreams are impossible and will destroy me. Hide, hide, mask, mask. Be happy. You're fake. You're a liar. People only talk to you out of pity. You're replaceable. Are among some of the thoughts that have been running around in my brain rampant for the last couple weeks. I realize how toxic it is to have this kind of mindset, but the truth is that this feeling that I'm not good enough has been lurking in the shadows like cancer throughout my entire life. It's shifted and changed and morphed over the years, but it's always at some level been present. However, I think I might have finally discovered where this toxicity stirring within me may be originating from. Like the water forever flowing down over the edge of Niagara Falls, I have a never-ending fear of failure, and it has been with me throughout my entire life. So let's talk about that together. Every summer between the age of 10 to 12, I would go to a Christian summer camp. The thing lasted about a week or so, during which we had several events that we would take part in. Some of the events at camp included go-kart racing, archery, paintball shooting, sculpting, Bible study, naturally, and many more. One year, they decided to mix things up and introduce a new activity, acting class. Originally, I was super hyped. I was a pretty outgoing child, something that would radically change going into my teenage years. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to explore my potential future as a famous actor. During the short 5-minute film, I would get the opportunity to show off just how much of a child prodigy I thought myself to be. This overconfidence turned out to be a huge disadvantage for me as I signed up to be the film's main antagonist, Satan. We had 1 week to prepare and practice our lines before we would go on stage and perform. During day 2 of the class, the director tried to give me some constructive criticism, stating that my voice wasn't creepy enough. My confidence shattered. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. If I did, the director wouldn't be giving me a grocery list of things I needed to work on, I thought. If I wanted to pull off a convincing Lucy, I would need to make my voice deeper, rougher, more defined, and sound more like my dad does after getting out of bed in the morning before getting his morning coffee. Seeing as I was playing the devil himself, I placed a huge amount of pressure on myself to not mess up. I had a lot of work to do, and not a lot of time to do it. Being 12 years old, I didn't know how to cope with all of this intense pressure, so I did what anyone who doesn't know how to cope with their intense, undesirable emotions does. I fucking buried that shit. I shoved those feelings into a corner, locked the chest, and tried so hard to keep it locked. If anyone asked, I was fine. I was all good to go. But that feeling of dread loomed over me, only growing stronger by the minute. Any chance I got, I would pop down to the lake and watch my reflections as I practiced my whole 3 lines of dialogue. It still sucked. The closer the inevitable performance got, the blurrier the days get in my memory. I think the overwhelming stress and anxiety of it all grew so powerful that my childhood brain blocked those memories out because I cannot for the life of me remember how that play went on that terrifying Friday. I wish I could say that that was the end of the story, that it was a bad week during one random summer and I went home and the fear went away. Sadly, that's not the end of the story, for this looming fear of failure stayed with me like a virus, all too well versed in the act of evolving. When COVID-19 broke out in early 2020, it was rough. Society shut down globally, the entire world dealing with the outbreak of a deadly virus. Immediately, different governments all around the world began working on different solutions, trying to create some sort of vaccine or cure to mitigate the damage and protect as many people as possible. Similarly, I started working on different ways to solve or at least lessen the impact this fear had on my life. My first step was to try to ignore it. I started trying to learn guitar, quit after 2 weeks because my ADHD got bored of it, but still. I started teaching myself programming. I made silly, stupid YouTube videos and many more experiments for potential interests. As you can imagine, the overconfident kid who thinks he's better than everyone else, not good. Not good at all. I was snobby, and the idea that someone else could know more than me simply did not compute. Kind of weird to think about how this is all because of a fear of failure. I was hated and bullied by my peers, which, fair enough. I probably deserved it. And so I moved on to try to hide my creative habits. I started unlisting old YouTube videos and even deleted a couple of them. For anyone watching this, please never throw away or delete any of the art that you do. That's a time capsule for your personal growth in your craft. You will want to look back on that a few years from now, and you will be amazed by how far you've grown. This again is a lesson that I learned from my mistake of thinking that it would be better if the art that I made never existed at all. I stopped being super outgoing in school. I started self-isolating. Whenever someone asked me how good I was, all good. But deep down, there was this pit, this emptiness. At some point, I said fuck it and decided to give content creation another go. I revamped my channel and started editing again. Over the last 2 years or so, I've been trying to be more comfortable with accepting that failure is the natural way that we learn to grow and become better. By allowing my fear to control me, I'm disallowing myself from the opportunity to learn from whatever lessons a potential mistake could teach me. However, COVID-19 evolved from the vaccine with the Omicron variant, and then again with the Delta, and then again with the Alpha variant. There's a reason germ-killing disinfectants say they'll kill 99.9% of all germs or something. There's always that 0.1% of germs that mutate and survive. In the same way, it seems my fear has also learned to adapt to my new mindset. Instead of being afraid that I will be a failure, I've now become afraid that people will see behind the facade and see me for the failure that I am. Or at least, the failure that my brain wants me to think that I am. I have this fear that all of the past mistakes I made as a teenager and as a child are going to spring back up on Twitter or something, and that I will have to deal with the drama of all of that. You could say, oh, this is a cancel culture rant. But I would argue that while cancel culture definitely does not help make things any easier, it has nothing to do with cancel culture and everything to do with the feeling that my actions are never good enough. Every time I post a blog or a YouTube video or go live on Twitch, the voice in my head says, you don't see it now, but 2 years down the line, you're gonna look back and see how horrible this is. And if you can see it 2 years from now, anyone else at any point in time could also see how bad this is. You should just stop trying and save yourself the embarrassment of others realizing your complete and utter incompetence on the subject. At the beginning of this post, I mentioned that I tweeted about all of this swirling around in my brain. Soon after sending out that tweet, I got so many messages from friends and other content creators telling me that I had nothing to fear and that I am good enough. While this fear is still looming, and probably always will, hearing people's honest opinions about me and seeing that others believe I'm worth enough for them to spend their precious time complimenting me made me feel so much better. It ended my spiral into utter depression. More than that, though, I think it may have finally shown me the cure for a fear of failure. Words of affirmation. I know I'm not alone in having this fear, and I know that it will never truly go away. I may find better mindsets or vaccines to help mitigate the damage, but variants will always exist. The big thing to remember is that you are not alone. There are people out there who love you, care about you, and believe that you bring value. Fuck the haters. Whether it be your art or you just trying to be the best person you can be, you are doing the best you can right now. It's not perfect because no one ever is. But as long as you keep trying to do better and no more today than you did yesterday, I'd call that a success. Lastly, and most importantly, make sure you compliment others for the good things you think about them. What may seem like a quick 10-second text message to you could take someone else out of a spiral of depression and existential crisis. So make sure you're always doing your best to lift up other people, because you never know how much a little message could make an impact on someone else's life. Thank you. That was good. That was so good. Hell yeah. Cool. That was good shit. Good shit.